Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with my review for Forza Horizon 3, the open world racing game by Playground Games. And a big thanks as always to Microsoft for providing the review code for this lovely title. Now, I haven't played a racing game since The Crew, and The Crew wasn't very good to be honest with you. And I haven't enjoyed a racing game since like Burnout Paradise or something like that, maybe the older Need for Speed games. So it's been a while since I've really enjoyed a racing game. So going into Forza Horizon 3, I didn't know really what to expect, but I'm here to tell you guys that today. And as always, if you are interested in day one reviews for all of your favorite and most anticipated games, this is the place to be. So click that subscribe button and be sure to stay tuned for more reviews. Is it Forza?
No.
Forza?
Sure.
Forza? We're gonna say Forza.
I don't know.
Let's hope it's Forza. Forza Horizon 3 is the Lone Vault Wanderer inspired open world racing game, as I previously stated. You are racing around the land down under, aka Australia. And it's actually a refreshing change of pace. It's a different type of open world to explore. Now, Forza Horizon 3 does take advantage of the terrains inside Australia, and you get to drive all different types of cars, which I found quite refreshing. What I'm really happy with about Forza Horizon 3 is that they didn't try to do a story, okay? Because The Crew did it, and I hate to use the word, but it was just really cringy, okay? And so I was really happy to see that Forza Horizon 3's focus was on the cars, the customization, and the racing. It wasn't about how you could try to tell this immersive and emotional story in a racing game. I just don't think that's really possible. So it was really nice to see that they didn't go for that and really focused on what matters in these types of games. What's happening is that the Horizon Festival is being thrown now in Australia, and what you're doing is, as a racer, trying to win all these different types of races, do these crazy stunts and whatnot in order to gain more fans and expand the Horizon Festival to new parts of Australia. So it's actually oddly compelling, where I loved seeing my fan count go up, even though you don't really see it. You don't see different people on the side of the roads at all unless you're in like a closed course. Then you'll see people coming out and watching you race, but when you're driving around the open world, you don't see a single human, just other cars, which makes sense because then it would be like GTA and you'd be running over people, and I don't think that'd be okay in a Forza game. But still, so though I do have to say I understand why they did it, I did find it slightly immersion breaking to see no humans whatsoever in Australia unless I was in this closed course, but I understand obviously why they did it, so I'm not really going to complain. But yes, as I was alluding to, driving around Australia is a blast. There's so many different types of terrains, which I mentioned earlier as well, and just ripping through them is awesome because this game rewards you based on your style, not coming in first. So think of it as that little league team that you played on when you were a kid and you got a trophy and a medal just for showing up even though your team really sucked. That's what Forza Horizon 3 is, ladies and gentlemen. You get points, you get rewards for showing up. Do you get bonuses when you come in first, when you are the best racer? Yes, but they are not exponentially bigger. So where if you're not the best racer, which most of us aren't, then you know what? You're not going to be missing out too much, which I do appreciate in this game because I'm not really the best at racing games. I get a hang of them, I get really good at them, and then I tend to get bored. Did that happen with Forza Horizon 3? Not really, to tell you the truth. I actually enjoyed the driving and the handling of all these vehicles. The customization was so deep that you could make a certain car feel like something totally different, like a truck feel like a sports car, where you could just make whips around corners and stuff. And I really like that customization, especially as a noob such as myself. I'm just like, okay, let's look at the stat bars. All right, I'm gonna mess around with stuff like this. Let's see what happens. And then going back into the open world, messing around with the cars. It actually felt really cool. Now, if you couldn't tell by that description, I'm not really a gearhead, and this game really isn't for gearheads. I think that's more of the Forza Motorsport series, but for people who are like me, who don't really know much about cars, who just enjoy the racing aspect and just driving around the open world, that's what this game's for. Is for people like us who aren't the craziest racing fans or the craziest car fans. That doesn't mean that if you are a gearhead that this game isn't going to teach you a thing or two or allow you to go even deeper, because you can go even into a tuning section where you can really fine-tune different things about your vehicle. So don't get me wrong, there are deeper options for those who know more about racing, but still, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to say that for people like me, it's okay. You can hop into this game. Also, talking about hopping into the game, there is a multiplayer section where you can do online adventures, which is almost like a circuit mode where you do multiple events such as racing and then stunts, and you have points rack up at the end, and it's an XP meter instead of, like I said, who comes in first. Because for me, I came in first place in my online session, even though I came in each of the 3 races we played in, first, third, and fifth. I still came in first because I was the most stylish driver there. So what the game really enforces is driving cleanly and learning how to rack up points in this little skill chain up top instead of just focusing on speeding by your opponents and coming in first, and that was a really smart design choice. On top of online adventure, there's also the online free roam where your friends can just drive around the open world of Forza Horizon 3 together, and then you can actually do the campaign together online, which is the first time in the Forza Horizon series, so that's really cool too. So if you're not crazy into racing games, but your friend is, you can actually get a good solid multiplayer experience here as well. As for the open world and its events there, they might get slightly repetitive for you. Now for me, I haven't played a racing game in a while, so I really wasn't feeling the monotony, but I could see other gamers hopping in and seeing exactly that. There's really only a handful of things to do in this open world. There's naturally, it's a racing game, so there are races. Then there's PR stunts where you get in different special vehicles and you try to accomplish certain unique challenges, which are quite fun. There's different boards you can break in the open world. Then you can run championship circuits, which you unlock after a while. Those are kind of like the online adventures I mentioned earlier, where you can just go through this circuit of modes. Obviously, this is a racing game and it's just built around racing, where while you're driving around, you'll see another drivatar, you'll honk your horn, they'll join your convoy, then you can race your convoy to your waypoint. You can earn new XP and credits, which you can spend on new vehicles and unlock skills. And so you get what I'm saying, where the game is focusing constantly on having you racing and competing with one another, and I really do like that emphasis. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if some people would find this becoming monotonous, but for me personally, I really enjoyed it because it's a great racing game. Obviously, graphically, the game, if you couldn't tell, is amazing looking, and I can only imagine when those HDR TVs and whatnot start popping up that a lot of people are going to be very impressed with how this game looks. Also, I think it's worth mentioning, if you're like me, that soundtracks in these types of games are really important to get right, because it's the only thing separating you between just staring into the open world and hearing your engine roaring and actually, nodding your head and really getting into the race. And yes, the soundtrack in this game is fantastic. They actually added a cool mechanic called skill songs, and what a skill song is the radio will announce that, oh, this is a skill song, and what happens is then your points are doubled. So those skill chains I was mentioning earlier are now doubled, so you'll all of a sudden hear that song, you're like, this is my jam, man, here we go, and then you'll start trying to do these crazy tricks and drifts and whatnot, and it really makes it into a more fun experience just through a natural mechanic. But to be honest, this is how the core mechanics of the game run. You have races, you start building up your fan base by doing all these different challenges. Once your fan base builds up to a certain point, you can expand your festival. You expand your festival, more races and stuff appear on the map. Keep rinsing and repeating that process until you can open a new festival on a new quadrant of the map and do a showcase, which is when you do something really awesome. I'm talking about like racing a freight train, okay? These are really cool moments that have some crazy payoff. It's really worth it putting the time in. Does that mean the stuff in between is tedious and monotonous? It really depends on the type of gamer you are. For me personally, I have little patience when shit gets monotonous, and honestly, I didn't have to force myself through anything. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. So if you couldn't tell, what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that someone who doesn't know anything about cars, who isn't really a big fan of racing games at all, seems to really enjoy this game. So if you are into racing games, yeah, go buy this game. But if you're not, honestly, with all the different games coming out this year, I'd wait on some other reviews to see if stuff that you know is more up your alley, like for example, a Gears 4 maybe wait on that, see how that does, then decide whether or not Forza Horizon 3 is worth your time or not. But if you're curious, I think your money will be spent well here, because it does give you a ton of content to mess around with, lots of cars, lots of customization, lots of things to do, but it can get monotonous for some gamers. For me, it did not. But that is my review for Forza Horizon 3. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to know that I did my job properly for you guys. If I can improve in any way, let me know. Also, I want to be upfront and say I did not have a chance to test the PC version of this game. The reason I say that is because I got my review code a lot later than everyone else, because the PR company I work with was away in Canada, so they could not distribute codes until they got back. So I only got this code a few days ago, and it's a 48 gigabyte download. Getting it on my Xbox One was tough enough, so getting it on my PC for a quick test, I just didn't have the time to do it to get the review out in time. So I do hope you guys understand that. I'll make sure for future Xbox titles I do have you guys covered there, but right now I cannot. During these review periods, us reviewers talk to each other, and we have to make sure we're not having any singular issue or singular positive happening, and that nothing's just isolated, and have those important discussions. And I have heard that the PC port runs just fine, so do keep that in mind. Obviously, it's an Xbox Play Anywhere title, so you can play on either or. So if you buy it for your Xbox, you can still play it on your PC, and vice versa. So that's always good news there. And And plus the HDR update that's coming, I have heard from Carrick or Angry Centaur Gaming based off his Twitter that it looks pretty damn good. And if the game's weather system with its sunsets, its rain and everything is any indication on just my HD TV and how great that looked, I can only imagine it looks incredible on HDR. So do rest easy knowing that that is all handled and looks fantastic and plays fantastic. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on Forza Horizon 3 in the comments down below. If you have any questions whatsoever that I did not manage to answer in this review, then go ahead and ask down below. I am here to serve you. But I do hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you're looking for day one reviews on all the games you are hotly anticipating, this is the place to be. So click the subscribe button, please. It supports me and I'd like to serve you guys with some great reviews. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. The links are, as always, in the description down below. Check out SugarBomb.com, the place by Bethesda fans for Bethesda fans. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.